Hey everybody, Mac and Damien here for OCR Kings, and today we're with our friend Rocco, who we met at Athlete Services at Spartan Race in New Jersey. And man, oh man, is he a wealth of information, and he's got some great hacks for racers post-race and pre-race. Rocco,
Great.
thank you so much for joining us today. You are just an awesome dude. We're so happy to that,
So,
we finally connected with you, sir.
it's an absolute a pleasure to be here, and I really hope that everything that I tell you helps the Spartan and other Spartan racers in their quest to conquer obstacles.
Awesome,
Awesome.
without a doubt.
So I
Nice.
started doing this with Spartan. Joe asked me. We met back up in in Vegas. I helped to curate with a friend of mine, Jalan. She had asked me to to help her curate a wellness lounge for this big thing called Scale Global Summit, and then Joe was actually speaking at it. We hit it off, and I wanted to get everything. So, so like the athlete services thing, has really been a year in the making because we didn't know. And Joe just asked me, he goes, Rock, can you make this? Can you do the same thing that you did here for Spartan Race? And and over there we had so many different things. Like we had really cool things like called a Nanavi. We had PEMF there. We had a human touch, um, a massage chairs, and this kind of stuff. You can't bring into the woods, right? Like that's what
Right.
we're
Yeah.
doing, right? We're going into the woods and we're playing, right? And so some of the stuff you just can't do. You just can't do it. And so uh so over the course of a year, because all this started at a Big Bear, right? We did Big Bear and then we did Scale Global Summit. Joe was like, "Oh yeah, this is great." We were in a Big Bear and we said, "This isn't going to work whatsoever," because it was absolutely nuts. And like Big Bear shut down last year for the second day because they had like 17 code Irenes and all that stuff.
Right. Yikes.
Yeah, so we just wanted so over the course of the year we created um what I thought would actually work. And we have now a really good system. Now we finally got to the point where the four major modalities, the cold plunge, the sauna, the compression, and a massage are the four key things. And then I used my knowledge, obviously, to make sure that everything worked. Like you guys were kind of beat up. I think
A little
down,
bit. A
yeah,
little bit. Yeah.
That's right.
was kind of beat up after the after the Beast in Jersey. Well, you guys did the Ultra, right?
No, just the beast.
Nope, just the
Oh,
beast.
Just
oh,
the
the
beast.
Beast. Okay, because there were people that did the Ultra, and I just think that they're mentally ill
Yeah.
because
Maybe a little bit.
I
Maybe a little bit.
I think that there's a level of of mental illness
That's right.
in the Spartan people, but it's always
Yeah.
it's always fun when I'm there for to watch the people limping in, right? Because
Uh-huh.
you can see the level of like pain, right, from the
Yeah.
ultra and the beast, right? So there's
Right.
different levels, but I I tried to make it so that I could do as much good in as little time, in as a compressed time as I could. Because obviously we're not gonna have you there for like 2 hours, right? I can do it with the pros, like I used to do with the basketball teams that I did work with. the Olympians, right? Like they're training for 6 hours and then they can recover for 6 hours.
Right.
Right. I don't
Right.
have that with Spartans.
With us. Right.
I only have about maybe 15 to like to 30 minutes because I gotta churn and burn all
Right.
through, and I gotta make sure that you can actually do something, right? Because when you come limping in, right, I have to make sure I have to first assess what the hell's wrong with you, right? And then two, I have to know exactly how to get rid of that pain or that dysfunction. And that's kind of what I wanted to like to build, and we have, and we finalized the system and also the way to to uh to create a revenue model for that too.
So, a typical, we'll say like an ultra comes staggering, limping in. You assess the problem, see what's wrong with them. Again,
Yeah.
other than them being crazy for
That's
doing an
right.
ultra to begin with.
Right.
So the typical session takes about, you mentioned 20 minutes,
No,
kind of.
so we usually do. So it's usually once I assess, right, and I'll go through what the usual suspects are, right? When things when people come in, all are discombobulated.
Mhm.
They but usually it's a cold plunge for 6 minutes, a sauna for eight to 10, compression for 12, and then a massage for about 8 minutes.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah, so it's so I mean it's a little bit of like time per per person, but that's why we're expanding it now to eight chairs for the compression,
Okay.
four saunas, and then
Nice.
a 4 to 6 a cold plunges. Now, I'm only one person, so I
Right.
got to figure out how to clone my ass.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, but usually when an ultra or a beast comes in, they are and I'll go through like the different hacks for each of them too, but uh it's almost always shoulders, traps, low back, and most men don't their glute medius, it's the top part of your butt,
Hmm.
um and the glute medius. I mean, the glute medius and the glute minimus, and your piriformis, your QL, and your TFL. That's like those are the outward rotators. They they're most of the time what's causing all the other dysfunction, right? So your knees, anybody that has a bad knees, it's usually coming from the glute medius and the glute minimus.
Okay.
Um, neck, and back issues are usually coming from the rhomboid. The rhomboid is the muscle in the middle between your spine and your scapula, and that's because they're pumping too hard or they're gripping uh, the uh, the obstacles too hard, and the grip just isn't strong enough. And their shoulders. Now, your shoulder girdle is made up of a lot of different muscles, right? And it's mostly of the chest, the deltoid, and the back of your shoulder. Now, the back of the shoulder is where all the weak muscles and most of the dysfunction happens, and that's your supraspinatus, your infraspinatus, your teres minor, and those muscles are right back here, and that's where a lot of this happens. You see people coming in hunched over, like they're like the hunchback of Notre Dame, and that's all. That's because everything's just weakened, and the brain just basically said, you're not doing any more shit, whatever. And so that's when I have to jump into action. I have to figure that out, and then I fix it. The other piece of the puzzle um, is behind your knee is a muscle called the well, it's the popliteal, but it's the popliteus a muscle, and it's a small muscle that comes uh in back of your knee, down towards your calf, and that little stupid, it's a stupid little muscle. It's just an annoying little pain. I mean, it's literally a pain in your knee, and that a muscle creates the dysfunction in the hamstrings and also of the calf. So when you can do something before, you'll loosen that up, and you'll take the stress off of the hamstrings and your calves, and no one works their feet, and that's something that really bugs me till no end, because as Spartans, just being Spartan, you destroy your feet, you destroy them. And if you don't work them, and you don't work on them, your calves, and all the way up to your neck. So you have something called the the superficial backline fascia, and that goes all the way from the top of the back of your head all the way down to just under the heel, and that backline fascia is all connected. So when you can mess up your neck by not working on your feet. So that's the reason why you'll see me a lot of times working on people's feet.
When we met, you said something that's stuck with me. You
I
know,
usually do.
well, a couple of things, but but athlete services is not just for recovery, limping in to the tent after the race,
Right,
right?
right.
You're talking about stretching and eliciting like a pain response. You could warm up and might want to warm up with some athlete services before you go out to the start line.
Well, I always try to teach people
Okay,
that uh, that warming up is actually more important than the recovery.
right on.
And the
Okay.
reason why is, well, and I get in so much trouble. Everybody wants to just punch me in the face whenever I say this. And so I have to get, I had to get tougher in my old age because um, there's been the stretching thing. Everybody wants you to stretch. Everybody wants you to stretch. And I don't. I tell people, do not stretch. Whatever you do, don't stretch. And oh, what do you mean? I have to stretch, or else I'm gonna get hurt. Well, to your point, and I say this a lot, is that when you stretch, you're cold stretching, right? This is a cold stretch. You're creating a pain response in the brain, and then the brain literally says, nope, we're going back to what it was. And so you stretch, oh, a little pain, boop, and then it comes back. And then you go out there and you start running, and you wind up getting injured. What I started about 5 years ago with some of the pro athletes and the Olympic athletes that I was working with, and some boxers, MMA fighters, I started to put them in the infrared sauna. Now, it doesn't really work well if you use a traditional sauna. So so you got to use an infrared sauna, or you use a red light therapy. So like the big red light stuff. If you use that beforehand, you do about 6 to 8 minutes with that. Then you use the gun, and I have a gun here that I use a lot, and it's called the. And I don't want to, be doing endorsements and shit like that, but um, it's a game changer, right? I mean, and I hate that phrase too, but it really is. So it's this little tiny gun. It's literally it's the size of my hand, right? And so I like all the Spartans to get one, and it's like cheap as hell too. It's like $99 or whatever. And a company I used to work with, uh, you know, well, a Playmaker and I Relieve, they designed it and they created specifically for athletes that want to warm up. And so with that, I decided to start doing this. Now, a vibratory a massage, uh, people get mixed up. A percussive a massage is basically you beating the shit out of yourself, right? And you you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be pressing down on the tissue. You should be letting the vibration of the tool like this just vibrate,
Okay.
right? Now, when you push down on it, you can actually cause a damage to tissue. So you want to vibrate, and that vibration, I don't know if when you were a kid, if you went to like the beach and you slapped the sand. When you slap the sand, you'll see that water rises to the top when you slap the sand on the beach. That that is exactly what you're doing when you do the vibratory a massage or you're using a vibration. So you're actually helping to bring fluid into the fascia. That is an amazing discovery from because a massage itself, like if I've been doing a massage for years, and if you manipulate like the musculature through manual a massage, it doesn't do the same as what a vibratory a massage does.
Hmm.
And so using the sauna to to warm your body up, and also it relaxes the muscle. Once you relax the muscle, you can use the gun, and then it does the job of the vibration. It will then help to add fluid, your fascial fluid. It'll do a blood flow, and it'll help with blood circulation, and also it will take the tension out of that area. Now, that's all you want to do. And then you can do like small dynamic stretches if you want, but dynamic, not static stretches.
Okay.
Static stretching is about 30 years old, right? It kind of helped, and people thought it helped because it felt like they were loosening up, but they don't. Most smart athletic trainers, most smart um strength coaches out there now, in the pros and in the amateurs, they don't have people stretching really anymore. They're using other guns, they're using a dynamic stretching, a resistance stretching, it's called. Um, and so it's more dynamic. And I can go into all this, on other, you know, other episodes because there's so much to
So
it.
much there.
Yeah, there's
Right.
so much there. I don't want to take on, like 3 hours of the OCR Kings, right? It's your show, not my show, right?
Well,
And so, but yeah, so that's the thing. I want people to come to athlete services for athlete services, right?
right on.
So I want them to come to warm up properly, to become educated, right? To get hydrated, to get supplements or whatever they need beforehand, because I don't want you practicing during game time whatsoever, right? Because you can definitely, I mean, I see too many people get hurt, and they don't have to, and so that's a huge hack. That's probably one of the best hacks that I could give somebody is to tell them to go to the sauna 6 to 8, and this is also outside of the race. I want them going into infrared saunas, red light, and then doing the massage. And I want everyone every single day using a vibratory massage, right? I mean, I hear this all the time, and it literally drives me in saying, well, I have a gun, but I never use it. Well, you're an idiot. I mean, that's it. I mean, I bought a treadmill. I never used it. Well, you're an idiot. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
so we try with the vibratory massage. I always make sure that, and this is the biggest hack that I can give you too, is that we get like the neck and the shoulders here beforehand, the glute medius above the butt, and then and behind the knee, your calves and your feet before the race. You do that, your whole day changes, literally changes. And then when you come back to me, you're not limping, you're not hunching over, and your low back doesn't hurt.
So, before or after athlete services, how do people get a hold of you? Like, how can they connect with you outside and beyond Spartan Race?
I don't like people, so I don't want no. No. You can always get a hold of me on Instagram, Facebook, or my website, trainwithrocco.com.
Right.
And you can actually go and you'll start to see some of the different stuff that we're doing.
All right, gents, I got to drop. Everybody have a
You
great
guys are
weekend.
awesome, man.
Thanks
Thank
for
you so much.
connecting, everybody.
Yep,
And
got it.
we'll let you
Rocco,
know when the video's ready
thank
to
you.
go.
Yep. Thanks, guys.